Ready to go?
And we are live. Oh, man. You've had... How many drinks did you have?
I had 4.
4 drinks?
A lot of calories.
Well, where'd you get drinks at?
I went to Chili's. So you know what? Chili's has an amazing deal on Thursdays. $5 margaritas. But they serve it in this small glass, but they give you the whole mixer. It's beautiful. Like, I'm lucky I'm not a female because I would have had my tote bag there and I would have taken the shaker with me. Yeah, but it was a good deal.
So you came straight from over there to here?
No, man, I've been meeting when you're back in town visiting family, like I'll give you the viewers or the listeners some info. I lived in a certain area where I grew up all my life, like most people, but I moved away and now I'm back. And so I just been meeting people or meeting back up with old friends and coworkers. So it's been fun. You get to do that during the holidays. Hit the gym. Now I'm here, but I still feel a little inebriated. But let's go. Do I sound inebriated?
You sound like you're having the time of your life right now. I
sound pretty alive, right? Yeah, because alcohol is not a depressant for me. It makes most people angry, but for me, no, I actually come awake. But then I get really sleepy.
Okay. So what do you have to talk
like you
about?
Had some alcohol because you're tired, man.
I'm just tired, man.
Derek is listless on the podcast today.
It's just one of those things where it's the Christmas time, so you should just be getting some rest in, right? And unfortunately, I'm constantly working, which is I want to start 2018 off with a bang after we had our podcast about our goals, but
I know one of our goals will have more energy.
That has to deal with diet.
Has to deal with vitamin B,
some sleep, vitamin B12.
Yes, at least 6 to 8 hours. Is that right?
6 to 8
Get
hours.
Get that REM sleep.
My nutritionist told me every hour you get before 12 kind of counts as 2 hours of sleep.
Before 12 midnight.
Yeah. Because I think it has
before
to do
the glass slipper.
I think it has to do because of your circadian rhythms and when the sun is down, like your body is adept to getting better sleep and just a number of things. That's why when people work graveyard shifts, they have to get these blinds that block out any type of light because your body needs to get in a circadian rhythm to know it wants to go to sleep. Because back in those days, they didn't have lights. When the fire went out, when the sun went down, that's it.
They just go to sleep.
It's time to go to bed. You only have a certain amount of time to cook, eat, and sleep. Mm-hmm. And that's, within a certain spectrum.
And that's why probably most people wake up early.
You think so?
And did you change? Because I've changed as I got older. I became a night owl. I also get up early because that's just how I am.
Yeah.
I try to get up at by 6 is my deadline. That's every day. Maybe 7 on the weekends. But I hear people get up at 12 or 11 or 12 and it's like, what are you doing with your life? Half the day's over. I'd go back to sleep and start over again.
I think the latest I'll wake up now is around 8.
Yeah.
And I have an hour routine when I get up, and it composes of when I first wake up, the first thing I do is I do 20-minute stretches. Then I make breakfast about 15 minutes, and then I get ready, but 20, 25 minutes. That's about an hour. So I have to do my morning routine every time because millionaires and all the most famous people, they have a routine. And that's why, when you feel like you've successfully done your routine, you feel like you feel like you're ready for the day.
You feel accomplished.
Yeah, you feel accomplished. That 1 hour accomplishment or whatever you do in the morning, that's going to set the tone for the day. It's like in football when the first hit of the game sets the tone for the game.
You know that Seattle game when they got they hit Demaryius Thomas. Cam Chancellor came across, hit Demaryius Thomas, and knocked him over. I think that was one of the first plays before they got the safety. Or was the safety first? The safety was first, and then, that's right, the safety was first, and then they hit him really hard, and they were like, man, this is the tone of the game. And they only scored 8 points in the whole Super Bowl. Crazy. They came out just hitting hard.
You get smacked in the face. It's either you're going to smack life in the face or life's going to smack.
But that's what I want to talk about.
What is that?
Your date routine. Let all the listeners know, since we talked about your prom dates, we're going to go back and forth as if we're on a date. We're on a first date, and we're going to go talk about what to do and what not to do. But it's not going to be one of those like E-Stories or The View or Real Talk.
No, it better not be the pickup artist.
BuzzFeed.
You want to say this?
No, it's not going to be that either.
She does this. You want to read her code.
No.
You want to do the mirror technique. She puts her hand on your face. You put your hand on your face.
No. We could talk about that at another time, but
You
today,
really texted me and said, this is about to be a fun-ass podcast.
It's gonna be.
Don't
It's
come
gonna
up with
be.
anything to talk about.
Don't come up with
Flush
anything.
everything out.
Because right now you can't think. So look, I'm going to go over the questions if I was the girl, and we're just going to hit them hard. These are the things you shouldn't say on a date.
Okay,
but we're just going to see. You just got to be real as possible. So you go, and then I will go.
Okay, so but I don't have the phone with the questions.
I know I do, and this is why it's more interesting, because this number one is going to hurt you really hard.
Okay.
So, thank you for coming. Mm-hmm. You were on time. It's beautiful.
Well, you're the girl?
Yeah, well, we're going to switch.
Okay, so you're the girl, I'm the dude. Okay.
We're bi right now.
Okay.
So, I love what you're wearing. Take a seat. Let's get to know each other. Boom. First question. How was your ex? How was your ex, and why are you single?
So, I'm media trained. You're not ready for this.
Yeah, I don't know. You're never supposed to talk about your ex.
Yeah,
Let's see what you're going to say.
You know, I'm not one that believes in bashing anybody, because how would you feel if me and you, we ended up, being together and we ended up splitting? You wouldn't feel comfortable if you heard me bashing my ex or talking crap about anybody in any particular way. So, to save her character, to save mine, and to make you know that I'm not that type of person, I really don't like to speak about her. All I can say is, unfortunately, we had irreconcilable differences, and communication just wasn't our outlet to make things better. We resorted to a couple other things that wasn't healthy, and because of that, we basically had a split. I made a few mistakes, and to which I'm knowledgeable of. Actually, a girl would go.
Well, I just don't think you're the type of guy that I thought you were. You made mistakes. I want a guy who's perfect. What do you say to that?
Well, you can always go get your vibrator, because that's the only thing perfect you can get. So you can get out of here.
And that's perfect time for to do an inner podcast. Do a little cross marketing right now. Is the Juju, the Rabbit Vibrator by Emily, sexwithemily.com. Go on her podcast and get the promo code.
There's a podcast called Sex with Emily?
Yeah, it's really good if you're in a relationship. If you're not in a relationship, but they talk about all those type of things, from dating to relationships to sex. I don't know why I'm promoting it, but it's a pretty good podcast.
This is not a paid ad.
It's not a paid ad, but that's something I used to listen to.
All right, relationships. So, I mean, the question.
No. It was just your ex.
Okay, yeah. So, basically, okay, my ex. I do firmly believe, I'm never going to speak negatively about her. I'm never going to bash her. I'm never going to call her out of a name that I've never called her to her face. I mean, other than us not getting along at a certain point, or me disagreeing with a couple things, I mean that's just human nature. You're not always going to agree. You guys might be good, and when it's good, it's good, and when it's bad, it's bad. And those are the relationships you really have to look out for, because why when it's good, why when it's bad, can't you work things out if you know how good it can be? And so, it's unfortunate that we weren't able to make it last, but I think we've both have moved on to, better things, as I would hope. I don't know what she's up to, but...
I don't know. I think you've moved on to better things.
Well, I wouldn't.
You'd hope that it's that way.
I would hope that it's better. I just know that I'm in a different, position. I can't even say that because I'm not in a relationship with her. My life is just way better. I think the stage I'm at in life is just way better. So it's just a totally different. It's like, how can you compare Jordan and LeBron? They're two totally different. No. Hold on.
Kobe.
No. Let's say Jordan and LeBron. Because Kobe's kind of in the split between them.
Yeah, okay.
They're two totally different eras. The people who are playing around them are totally different. They're probably, extreme in their other ways. It was totally different plays being called. Back then it was all about the center. Now it's all about the point guard and, different things like that. So I can't compare, one to another, because maybe I had the wrong coach. Maybe my mind operated differently. Maybe things just weren't aligned in my own life or the world around me to have developed that as well as it could have, or whatever. So I just kind of chalk it off as in, it happened and it was beautiful, It had its beautiful moments, but this is what I did wrong, and that's all I could focus on. This is the pain that affected me. This is all I could grow from, and you know what? Let's just handle it like that.
You know, I'd say the same thing. If you're going to ask me that question, I'd be like, you know, it was great. We had our time. We have a lot of memories, and I've grown from it. Made a lot of learning experiences, and it made me stronger. And I got to Derek Chandler 5.0, 6.0, 7.0. So it's hard to say it in the way I'll say it right now is this relationship will help me in my next relationship. But it is kind of true. It's the same story. But I just chalk it up to say that we had our time and it was amazing. It was great.
So you look at it as... Do you feel like the better you get with yourself, like the better version, Derek Chandler 5.0, the better relationships you're going to attract because you're a better man, therefore you should naturally attract a better significant other.
If I'm truly growing, then I should. And if I'm not, then I got to re-examine myself and go back and see where's my virus at? Where am I wrong? If I'm talking software, firmware, where is it breaking at?
But you don't
What's
think
wrong?
That's totally that's how we were talking about, you know, external goals versus internal. So the internal goal, if there was an example, internal would be like, I want to talk to more people and just socialize a bit more. Okay, that's internal. You only affect that. Mm-hmm. But if you put, I want people to like me, you're leaving that within their power. So if you're saying, I want a better woman, you know, that's kind of like you're giving that person the power to dictate what you feel inside. Because what if she seems great, but she's just not for you? You know, she's a better woman that matches your class, but there's just a disconnect that because you have different, you know, beliefs and understanding. So better doesn't mean better isn't necessarily saying this woman is better. There is no metric for better. It's all subjective. So your subjectivity is constantly changing. So how could you say this woman is better than that woman, you know, in your life? Is it just by how they make you feel or the happiness that they give you? Is it the understanding? Is it how they make you feel in connection with God if you're a Christian? Is it how they make you, you know, they push you towards your goals? What is better? Because 7 years from now, your subjectivity to what is a better woman is going to change. You know, when you're 25, when you're 32, you're going to have totally different goals. Maybe the better woman right now would be a woman that's going to help you further your career. But 7 years from now, the best woman for you is going to be the one that's going to bring you children and is going to, you know, give you a family. So how do you define what is better at that point? Because it's subjective.
I mean, you got me stopped here, but
I took a hit of weed before we did this podcast. That's probably why I'm so introspective right now.
Is that what you did?
No, I'm playing.
I'm like, goodbye. So you fit in too many people here, but I think that you would look at the qualities that you don't like and your standard of like, okay, look, like everybody's like, oh no, you can't cheat on me, you can't really change in terms of, you know, who you are, you know, you can't kind of change too many things like right away, because then you'd be like, well, you're a different person. Mm-hmm. But what I'm trying to think of, those things that really irritate you about your last one, you'll remember those and then be like, that's exactly what I do not want, because that it always sparks an argument. That's what I do not want.
Yeah.
And I think that if you know those, then that becomes that better person. That's what makes them better than that other person, because they don't do those things. They don't have those triggers that get you in that, you know, that bad feeling, that bad aura to make you, you know, feel depressed or something like that. And where, you know, like this relationship is not what I want. So I think that's when you say it's got to be better. What is better? Because then I'm not fighting about the same things.
Yeah.
We actually like each other on a certain level. We actually have more fun together. We're more intuitive to each other. We know, we kind of like finish each other's sentences.
Sandwiches.
Yeah, we finish each other's sandwiches and stuff like that. And it's beautiful. We got it. But it, you know, we'll see. We'll see where it takes us, but like,
well, this gets more and more interesting, because I think I have two questions. One is, what age do you think is the right age to be in a relationship? And see, things come in and out of my brain just like that. Okay,
because you keep hitting weed right in front of me on the podcast.
So basically, what age is the best? And
I think to answer that quick question, why you think of question B, I think as early as possible. because then you get to see, am I really that selfish? What are my needs? What do I like? What do I not like? I really think it as early as possible, because I'm a person who waited, and now I can see the effects. Now, I didn't wait. It's not like I chose to wait. I felt like I wasn't naturally ready, and I kind of had that, and not being breastfed, I feel like you kind of grow later in life. So I think that, all those hormones and all that stuff just comes late. And then you're just like, you're at a point where it's like, well, I need to really contain myself. I need to stop going out as much. I can't think all this life is about partying and relationships and meeting people. It's actually, I got to build a future. So I think, I started off like that, but I kind of wish I would have started earlier. So I know the mistakes that I've already made now, I could have made them when I'm like a juvenile and not where I'm a young adult. That makes sense. So you start off when you're earlier years, just like you. I remember you, right? No, it wasn't you, but it was somebody just like you in my middle school. Valentine's Day came up, right? Middle school, right? What did they do? They went and got a bucket of candy, balloons, a teddy bear. Me, I didn't know what to do. I didn't even know people do this thing. I'm like, oh man. So he gave it to a girl, right? And then the girl didn't really receive it that well. So we're both in the same boat. I didn't get her anything, and he gave her all this stuff. So you get to see, like, when you're doing too much and you're doing too little, you start making those mistakes earlier. I can't just be the gift giver. I can't, I'm either the provider or the lover. And so that's what I think, having those early experiences are better, so you can fail early and win later instead of vice versa.
Have you ever read the book, the 48 Laws of Power?
Yeah, Robert Greene.
Yeah, Robert Greene. And so do you remember whenever he would give an example of a law, and then at the very end of the chapter, it would say reverse, or it would be like, here's the exception to that, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm about to do right now. Okay, so basically what you're saying is, the earlier you start in relationships and start, messing around, is the better you're going to be when you're 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, whatever.
You added messing around. I meant,
okay.
I meant the earlier you experience with women or men, whatever your preference is.
So this is where I find fault in that. I know a lot of people, and particularly girls, that are affected in a negative way by this. They get into a relationship. By the time they're 15, they're in a relationship until they're 18. And then what happens is they break up, and your first breakup with your first love is like it's the hardest thing you'll ever go through, especially with if the amount of time invested or whatever the circumstances are. It's clearly one of the hardest things that a young adult will have to go through. Now, put that in with you not knowing anything about life, you being inexperienced in almost every facet. You have no idea what you want to do with your life. You're just as confused. There's pressure on you to get a good job, or to go to college, or to be a good athlete, or to be a popular person in your social circle. And so you put this into perspective with you breaking up, and for a lot of people that I've noticed, they become dependent on others because they're so broken now. They start clinging onto these falsified, ideas of, partying and drinking and, having sex and so many other things that when you get caught up into, it's a lie about your happiness. That's not that you're trying to fill a void with all these fake things. And so people that get into it very young end up coming out really scarred. And so let's say that we took the same person, cloned them, exact 100% the same person, and we did a sample. Well, this one didn't get into their first relationship until they're 21. They were very, they had a good family. They know what communication is. They have the same best friends. And then you take someone else. Oh, they started, having sex when they were 14, 15 or whatever, 16, got into a relationship when they were, 16 years old, broke up when they were 20. And then that one relationship made her or him go have sex with these two people and then these two people. And it's just like their soul started splitting in half every time they met with somebody. And so you could look at it as that way, which is like very, sombersome. And
I think it's the current story for most people.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
No, you have a point there, but I'm kind of thinking you're on the worst side, the worst
but I
situation.
Also think you're on the best side as well.
I'm on the best side too, because like if we have like a relationship and it's like, oh yeah, well, I see you at school, we kind of hang out, we have lunch together, we at the same PE class, cool, we talk on the phone, whatever. It's cool. You start off, you're cool. That's like many first people's relationship. Mm-hmm. And then they might, they get a car. Oh, let's go to movies, whatever. Yeah. And whatever else happens. But at the end of the day, you still have those experiences. And,
that's very true.
And if you're smart and you know where you're going, you're still focused on those goals that you should be having as a young guy. You should be like, okay, I'm going to start trying everything I want to do because I don't know, I might become, the next data scientist or something like that. I might become this, but I've just got to be on my game and not spend all my time with this person. That's what most people kind of think like, oh yeah, we're here now, but there's my future. So if you're in that mindset, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And then when you really you meet somebody when you're in college or after college, I'm like, well, yeah, man, I remember that girl in middle school. And so I already know how to approach. I already know how to have, her interests and stuff like that. And I'm not just like,
I mean, it's equally... What you're saying is 100% right. You need to have experiences in order to obviously make better assertions, better judgments, and just to have, a better recognition of what you're doing in life. You have to. And when you're able to talk to the opposite sex with comfort, like let's say you have to give a presentation to a room of, executives or corporate, or you have to talk to a customer in your job later. When you become comfortable with the opposite sex, everything kind of becomes a lot easier. I remember a friend of mine had said, when you do it the first time, you look at life differently. Like things just are a little bit looser for you. And whatever, I just remember that though. That's something that I specifically remember. And with myself, I think I finally have become 100% comfortable with the opposite sex. Like I'm me, I'm myself. And like what I've said in the podcast before is I'm 100% okay with myself. Like if you don't like me, that's fine. Like I have people that love me and that will never change. And so you have to, but like I wanted to stress, why are we not allowed to get a driver's, we're not, it's not that we're not allowed, but we're not considered a responsible adult driver until we're the age of 25. So like how I always say, your frontal cortex, which is responsible for the best judgment, which is responsible for emotional, IQ, and a number of other things that it's responsible for, it's not fully developed until you're 25. Like you're not supposed to start taking on.
Females were 18, males were 25.
No, they're basically the same around. And also, like what I said, if you're smoking weed, you're messing up that growth. So if you're 24, 23, and you're smoking a lot of weed, you're getting real stupid.
I also heard the opportune time if you're going to try a drug of choice would be before the age of 23, because the effects, they did studies, the effects of doing drugs at any age are the less damaging at the 20, 21, 22, those years.
Well, we'll take a little sidebar, but yeah, the research shows if you're under 25 and your frontal cortex isn't fully developed, it can damage it significantly. So I know a lot of people who smoke weed, that's all they used to do. And we know two girls that are really oh my God. And you're like, did I slow this podcast down? When you turn your podcast to 0.5 or 0.5.
Yeah, it ain't 2 times anymore.
Yeah, it's 0.5. Yeah. It's really slow. And you're like, are they reviewing for is this a official replay?
Was that a catch?
Yeah. Is this a slow motion? And then, for those of you that don't know about your gut microbiome, you have billions and trillions of bacteria that live in your stomach. And that's basically responsible for almost your entire existence. They're coming to find your gut microbiome is the most important thing in your life. So when you do drugs, guess what? You damage your gut microbiome. So you're more susceptible to a million bad things. But, that's just going into that. But don't you want to be 25 before you start making these heavy decisions about heartbreak, about love, about lust, and so many sexual things? I
don't think so, because you'll get 25 right now. If you're on the path of most people, you graduate at 18, you go to a 4-year school right after, no breaks. You graduate at 22, 23, depending where your birthday falls on the calendar. And then you're looking for that entry level job or an internship. And then so you'll be right at 25. You get a couple of years experience.
Yeah.
And you're at 25, if you're already kind of there. So you kind of want to have somebody
when you
in the
put
pot
it like that,
if they meet all your qualifications, because then like 27, 30, I want to I want to have a family, I want to have a house and stuff. I'm already set up. You're doing it early rather than 30, 35.
So it's like most people have a certain number of years they need to go through in order to finally hit that I want a family stage. So you need to have that messing around stage. You need to have that I'm experiencing different people. And it doesn't mean sex. It means like intellectual stimulation, emotional bonding and so many other different traits, spiritual connection with different people before you finally understand, hey, this girl right here or this man right here, I don't mind them. Like they kind of connect with me like how I've done individually with different people. And so, I can see what you're saying. Like in terms of job experience, like even if you have 4 years of experience, you're going to get that job more so than the person that just went to school. If
you know what exactly, I just thought about this week. So I have a client that I work with, and his assistant, he's office manager rather. It's a new business, and he is just on my nerves, man. It just like he just won't follow any direction. He doesn't have experience because he graduated college, and I'm trying to ask him to do stuff, but I end up having to do it. I'm just a consultant for him, and I'm just like, why you just follow directions? And then he gets mad when you try to correct him and stuff like that, and things aren't right. They're never right. They revisions, doesn't spell check anything, and I'm thinking that's probably lack of experience. He wasn't put in a place where it was like, if you're underperforming, you're gone.
Yeah.
And I've gone through that. I've had multiple jobs. I've been in and out of stuff, and I have that experience. So that's when I come in, it's like I know what the business is, what it needs. We'll get it done. We're efficient, and then it's it. But I think that's what it is, and it's a perfect example of someone who hasn't had any work. Not for everybody, but someone who has. He lacks a good work ethic, doesn't have the history, and comes into a place where they're given the tools to succeed, but they just won't. They just can't do it because they just don't have the experience.
Okay, well let's put it like this in football terms. Like they don't want kids playing football anymore because of CTE, and it stunts their so many different physical aspects and damages them mentally. And it's like, okay, but the kids who start at the age of 7 years old and junior All-American, they go into high school and they're ready to be damn recruited, for the most part. Whereas those that start like their sophomore, freshman year of high school, it's like, oh man, like those kids have been hitting. They know what getting hit with pads is, what it feels like. They know what getting, stuck in the stomach and so many other different pains feel like. They know what that pressure of having to catch a ball with 2 minutes left. They know all those different things.
And they know the intellectual side too, like not just the physical side, but they know about route running, conditioning, training. They know about the pressure, the emotional IQ, that when the pressure's on, to just stay calm, catch that ball, do what you got to do. Don't overcompensate for the certain situation. So, okay, I see both sides, and both can be positive and both can be negative. Now, I think the one thing that I never see people really do is they never say it's case by case. So I always say, if I was a judge and I heard this case and this case and this case, I wouldn't have a rule book that states, oh, this is what you should do when this happens, because you're one day going to run into a situation where that doesn't apply. Or it doesn't apply well. There's might be like a special circumstance where it's like, ooh, yeah, I understand the law, but it'd be better if it just like we just took it into context, And so like learning these types of like cases, I always want to just go, okay, it's case by case. Everything is individualized. Like, so when it comes to these relationships or when it comes to your individual growth, for me, if I had been heartbroken at such a young age with love, because I had loved some girls that I wasn't like with, but I was just like in love with just their persona, their idea. You're young, It's called, after you're 18, it's called being a stalker.
It is?
Yeah, it's called being...
You know what? Back in the day, back in like the 50s and the 60s, man, men would grab women and kiss them, and then if they didn't like it, they just slap them in the face. That wasn't sexual assault. Man, that was romantic, and if she didn't like you. Like, man, what's going on today? But anyway, I don't mean to get... It was chivalry. Yeah, right? Yeah, like stalking. Like, if you showed up to her work with flowers one day and then, a little Cinnabon the next day, that was romantic. Look how hard he is willing to try for you. Nowadays, you can't even give someone a hug without being, considered a rapist. But what I'm saying is, I just feel everything has to be a little bit case by case. And for me, if I would have fell in love at such a young age, like a deep love where I'm in an actual relationship, my first relationship was until like I was 21. And so, I was a little bit older. I knew how to handle some emotional stress a little bit better. But if that would have happened to me when I was a lot younger, I don't think I'd be sitting here. I think that damage would have strayed me off in a path of self-destruction.
But you're also thinking at 21, you don't have the same mindset or the emotions that you would have at 16, 18.
Yeah, so but when you're 16 and 18, you're less stable.
Yeah, but you don't have those emotions when you're 21. So you're thinking of other things. Like you see what I'm saying? So like
the stress of finding a job now.
Exactly. If you're thinking about your brain, it's a lot smaller. Mm-hmm. But I think you forgot we were on a date here.
Oh, we're on a date. Okay.
And you're not supposed to talk that much on a date.
Wait, hold up. Okay, so
you made it about yourself and your ex instead of me and you. No, but the second question on this 10-question date is never discuss finances. But let's talk about money. Are you rich? Do you have money? Do you have a plan with your money? You have a Roth IRA?
Okay, so
you have a 401k? Sorry, 401k?
Okay, so let's put it like this. Due to some financial struggles that I had when I was in college, for those of you that don't know, when I was in my sophomore year of college in December, I think of 2012, I got into, I did a workout, and after that workout, my forearm started hurting, and I had bench pressed 265. And so I think in doing that process, I had tore some muscles or stressed myself out. Either, whatever it was, I triggered my body into a shock. And over the course of a number of years, the shock carried out through my body and it shut down my body. And so, like I always keep saying, I'll get into this podcast one day about what happened and how I'm overcoming it with diet, nutrition, and supplements, and not drugs or what the doctors would recommend. But I basically got a scholarship for school, and I was basically riding high, getting $3,000 refund checks. I was rich, man. $3,000 to a college student who ain't got nothing to pay for other than his books.
Yeah, and that didn't go to books, didn't go to tuition, only went to car, went to Fat Burgers, Starbucks. Karmaloop.com.
Damn, you are so right. You spend $100, get free shipping plus 20% off your next order. Oh man. So all I know is I ended up having to pull out about $25K worth of loans out. And so that set me back financially. And then in order to continue to find ways to revive my body, because I was basically handicapped at a point. I could barely get out of bed, could barely lift my hand up to brush my teeth. It was that bad. I spent money on NFL treatments. I spent money on a number of different things until I found my nutritionist in November of 2016. And so, a lot of money has gone in the drain just trying to get myself to a normal operating level. So I'm still recovering partially from that, from some of the debt that I've incurred that I wasn't able to work and whatnot. So I'm not financially in the best situation, but financially smart, yes, I'm very much so. I'm sorry, I think people are fighting with Transformers outside. But I'm very good with money. My family and I have 4 businesses. I handle all the accounts, all the financial, everything that's financial, the accounts, just everything. And so I know what to do with money. When I have it, I know how to make more. I know how to invest. I know when a good time is to pay off debt versus use this money to invest, and that'll make you more money to pay off debt later. I think I have a good handle on it. I just don't have enough money to continue to play around with. So what about your financial situation, Mr.?
I would say ditto. And just to remind everybody that this is what you shouldn't say at a date. Things that we'll never discuss, but you're doing a great job. I would say that if I was on a date, I would say I don't have any money. I'm broke. And some of my tactics were, like I've told you, you show up late to the date, or you show up super early where you get your own drink, especially if it's Starbucks. You get your own drink first, sit down and act like you're waiting for her, like, oh my God, where you been at? And then she gets her own drink and you're seated, and then now the tables have turned. But since I am on a date right now, and I would say, just to be real, I would say that, I have 401k. I'm doing that wisely. I'm doing my company match. I do a Roth IRA, so I'm contributing $5,500 of after-tax money because I think taxes will be higher in the future. Maybe not since the new tax plan's out, but I've already started that. So there's a percentage of money that gets deposited into a brokerage account every week. So it's about, I don't know, $52. No, it's not $52, but it's whatever 5,500 is divided by 52. I think it's $125 a week. That's what it is. And so I have that going. Also, I have, your savings. You want to be liquid. Have that. Have what else do I have? I think that's pretty much it.
You have a lot of investments. I have some Bitcoin. I mean, not Bitcoin, Litecoin.
You have some Litecoin?
Litecoin.
I have some real coin that I've rolled up. I have to go to B of A in the next few days and deposit that. I tend to do that every year. I save all my change and I deposit that. So you get like $60 back.
Yeah, I stole my little brother's change when he puts it on the counter. I'd be like,
yeah, I mean, you never know.
The counter.
You keep
and
it.
Nobody saw this. That's 85 cents for a better day.
That's a few dollars you can have. But
what's the next question? These are pretty interesting.
Yeah, politics.
Ooh.
So, are you red? Are you blue? Are you left? Are you right? Are you conservative? Are you liberal? Are you the Green Party? Republican, Democrat? Where are you at?
Further going off of my case-by-case type, belief, I'm not Republican or Democrat. Being in either of those spectrums, you end up becoming extreme. You need to be able to reason and to have logic in both, parties. Some things are smart. Some things aren't smart. I am a Christian. I have my Christian values. But, just because you're a Republican doesn't mean you get to push forward your conservative agenda on someone else. So as a Christian, I don't want to force my views on anybody. I just want to be myself as a Christian and, act accordingly as to God's will, to what, Jesus spoke about and how he lived his life. And if you want to like me because of that, and if it attracts or if it betters your life, just off of my well-being, then good. But I'm never going to force that. So I feel with both of these parties, people like to force their views on people. And so I just think you need to leave people alone. So I guess it would be kind of libertarian, right? Kind of leave them alone, let everything just kind of manifest and don't step on each other's toes.
Yeah. I mean, there's also that part where you're a liberal too.
Yeah.
And so you want money spread around for everybody.
No, see, I'm very capitalistic, and for a very good reason, because the best products are begot when you allow people to compete.
And the market chooses.
The market chooses the best, and so it's natural selection. That's how evolution has occurred. That's how the best things come into fruition. That's how you find the best quarterback for a team. That's how you find the best significant other that you're going to marry, eventually one day. That's just the facts. And I don't believe in socialism or communism, there's equality of opportunity, but there's not equality of outcome, and that's what I believe. Yes, we all are given different circumstances and how we start. That might be dependent on what your parents did. That might be dependent on what your biochemistry is and how you think and process your thoughts and how your body reacts to certain situations. But you know what? You basically are. You're in America. Don't blame anybody for what you can't do. There's a million things that can motivate you today. Go on YouTube. There's someone that is your friend, and I'm getting off topic, but politics.
Why would I go on YouTube for a friend?
No. You could go on YouTube and find motivating people that you'll feel like your friend. Like you're not alone. Like if you know how to become a community and an individualistic society where we don't have to rely on each other, you're winning. You're winning. If you know how to connect with people through social media, you're winning. And so use that. And so when it comes to politics, I have my views. Just ask me, and I'm actually going to get really stupid when it comes to some. I'm going to do the Hillary face, the laugh, the
You just did the Charlie Sheen right now with all those winnings. But
what would you do for politics? How would you?
No, so we're actually on the same page here. I am Christian and I am conservative. And I am capitalistic. I have that mindset. I believe if you work hard, good things happen. You surround yourself with good people or people who are better than you, good things happen. But I also don't believe in giving, money away to people who don't or they want to work for it, or they will want handouts. So when I get taxed at the end of the year, I'm just like, man, where is all this money going to?
Yeah.
And so I don't like a lot of the programs that we have in terms of free money, but I also do support things in the community to help build infrastructure, help build, kids. There's a lot of kids out there. If they can just get around the right people, man, they can go so far. Yeah. And I'm talking about the poor ones in bad areas. And so that's what I believe. And
that's important. But what I don't find is important is for Obama to pay for people to have cell phones, like touchscreen cell phones.
Yeah.
Like they can have a jitterbug.
He gonna buy my phone. He gonna buy me a TV.
So, I don't know. They're trying to do... I think it's Swedish. What was Switzerland or Poland or one of those nations? They're trying to do universal basic income. So basically, if you give people $12,000 a year, and they're able to cover basic necessities and rent and all.
I'm able to cover meth and what else can I get?
Will they, do the things they like to do and live good full lives, or are they just going to take it, not do shit, and just live off that $12,000 a year?
You got to work for it, because you work for it, you appreciate it. You appreciate it. And that's the same thing, You get that car, man, I'm washing and cleaning it. Oil's check is good, You get a car, and I've been around these rich kids, not all of them, but I'm just in my experience. Why did you give me black? I wanted a white car. It's like a brand new C-Class 230 and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I don't even have a transmission. I'm just waiting for a transmission. 2-wheel drive for a Subaru that's supposed to be 4-wheel drive.
Flintstones, you pushing it, man.
Yeah. That's just like, it's amazing.
Next question.
But we answered 2 questions there with religion and politics. So let's move on to family background. I don't know if this is a bad topic to talk about. Family. Everybody wants to know, how many brothers do you have? How many sisters do you have? Well, but maybe if you had abuse, you had a mom that was dependent on alcohol. I guess bad things like that.
Well, would you actually talk about that on the first date?
If it was funny and if I could make a joke about it, I probably would. I could talk about my Uncle Kirk from the East Coast. He's a Jehovah's Witness, but we never really see him because, only time you call somebody's on holidays, and they don't celebrate holidays. And so he came down one time for a funeral. Bad timing, but he came down for a funeral, and he gets to our house. He stays in our house, rent free. Got all the amenities included, and he opens up 2 milks. And this is when he's go to Costco. You get the double milk bag, and we're like, "Who the hell opened up 2 milks?" The whole family's pissed. You don't open up 2 milks. You drink 1 milk, finish it, throw it in the recycle, then break the seal of the new milk. He opened up 2 milks. Till this day, it's been 15 years. You're like, what's wrong with that boy? Open up 2 milks. That's crazy. So I don't know. That's pretty much funny, but that's all I have. You got one?
When it comes to family background?
Family background. You got a funny story you could tell?
Yeah. So basically, my parents split when I was I think a year or 2 years old. And so, my parents ended up going through child support. And it'd be hilarious because I remember these things. I remember my mom taking my dad to court, and she brought my lunch pail from when I would go to school, and my lunch pail had stickers of South Park, Papa Roach, and the union, the electricians union, every sticker my dad could get his hand on when I was 5, he would just put it on my lunch pail. So my lunch pail was dope. I had Wu-Tang spray painted on my backpack. I mean, it was dope. So my mom would bring these items.
Artful.
Yeah, my dad cared. My mom would bring these items to court and be like, "Look what he's doing to my son." And I just remember now looking back, that shit is hilarious. I turned out fine. I'm not a killer. I don't rape. I mean, I contribute to society, but that's hilarious.
That is hilarious.
And just hearing my dad call, I'll be fighting with my mom because, when you're in child custody, or when you're doing the child support thing, your mom normally gets you 6 days a week, and you're with your dad on Wednesday and every other weekend. So Wednesdays and the other weekend. So some days I'm with my dad once a week, or I'm with my dad 3 to 4 times a week. So every other week though. And so I just remember when I would be with my mom for 6 days, we'd start fighting, and then my mom would call my dad, and my dad would call, and your dad wants to talk to you on the phone. And then he'd get on the phone, "Man, why's your mom all bitching, man? Can't you just be cool? Like, I don't want to get bitched at, man. I'm in trouble. I didn't even do nothing. I'm in trouble. And so just remembering some of these memories, like, yeah, it used to suck being a part of a split household and whatnot. But, you know, knowing some of the things my dad used to do, he used to always be high, you know, when I was with him with his friend Marquise, and just knowing, oh, that's what weed was. That's what they were doing when they locked me in my room. And just, that's why my dad put a TV on my top bunk and got me a PlayStation I could play burn games in, and so he could go smoke when I was with him, and I would just be playing games all day. He would feed me cosmic brownies and milk and frozen mugs. Like, that shit's hilarious to me. That's my family background. Like,
that's funny.
I was loved, but it was a funny love.
So what we learn is it's only the funny stories, not the sad stories.
Yeah,
my mom threw a shoe at me. My dad beat me with a belt.
My
the
dad,
leather kind.
My dad has a scar on his back, and it looks like an iron landed on him. So I guess the legend goes he pissed my mom off. She's ironing. Tosses the iron at him.
Wow.
Lands, connects on this dude's back.
Yeah, was that on the cotton setting? She soaked his ass. 50-50?
Polyester.
Oh, man.
And so that's
no spray?
And so that's the legend. So, yeah, I mean, I have my stories of you know, getting my ass beat.
Yeah.
And that's when getting your ass beat was okay. When I feel like we were the last generation to get our ass beat, and it was okay.
Yeah, I feel like we are the late 1990s. Because, you know, you touch a child now, man. Ooh, you losing it. You could lose him.
When, what's his name? The running back, Adrian Peterson.
Oh, yeah.
He beat his son with the switch.
Yeah.
And I remember I was watching a TV show, Community, and Childish Gambino's in that show, and the white girl, they're all in college, and the white girl likes him a lot, and he goes, "Oh, I'm bringing my nana to bring a family, you know, a family friend or whatever to school day," and the grandma goes when she sees the white girl because she's being disrespectful, "Bring me a switch," and he's all, "This is a different time. You can't be switching people, grandma," and like she's like, "It's okay," and then she gets hit with the switch. She's like, "Oh shit, this is real," but like. Why I think discipline, you need to be able to hit your kids. I think positive reinforcement is the first and foremost thing you should do. But why do we go on so many tangents? Go to the next question.
No, I mean, you're saying what you believe. So it sounds like you don't whip your kids.
Well, let me put it like this. I used to get my ass beat if I was in the wrong. But like I said, it's case by case. My girl's nephew gets his ass beat all the time. I mean, I'm on the phone with her. You just hear a pamper going. The kid doesn't face the kid no more. He's not afraid of his mom. You know, so an ass whooping just don't matter. So I don't know what would work for him. I think positive, you know, reinforcement, like when he does something good, oh, you know, here's a reward for what you've done that's good. You know, I think that is more effective than anything that might be considered violence. But, you know, I just think it's hilarious. I straightened myself out. There was one time I was a little boy, probably about 5 or 6. And I was at El Torito with my dad and his friends. And I think there was like a lady friend he was trying to impress. And I was acting a fool. So he goes, hey, he left his glasses in the car. I need to go get the glasses. Come on, let's go get your glasses. I remember he beat the shit out of me in the car. Beat the shit out of me because I was being a little punk. I remember I was sitting at the table. I still didn't have no glasses on, but I was... And everybody at the table knew I got my ass beat. You think I said a word at the table? Hell no.
I think he's allergic to the ceviche. It's burning his mouth.
But, I mean, different kids are different cases. Next question. What do we have here?
Big topic, sexual experience.
What is it?
It says don't talk about how many encounters you had or how much you like to do a certain, I don't know, position or something like that.
Like I told my girl, how do you think I learned how to do the Haitian squat thrust? You think I just learned it magically with you? It took practice. No, I'm playing. The Haitian squat thrust.
Yeah, I would say
the cervical collision. The cervix collision.
That's actually pretty good. Yeah, the pelvic thrust. That's another one. I would say you do the same rules.
The pelvic power pump.
You times by 3 if you're a woman, and you minus by 3, right?
Isn't that a J. Cole lyric? She said she only was. She said she was only.
Make it up, though.
She said she was only with like 4 or 5 people. So you know you got to multiply by 3.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. But no, I would actually just. If someone's asking you that,
that's
I would
a weird
think
question.
That they're up to something, or they have more history than you, or something like that?
That's a weird question.
I wouldn't ask that. I wouldn't want to care. Yeah.
Hey, how many people have you had sex with? Like, that's like a weird question. That's something you ask like when you're like talking, like you're well on to being boyfriend, girlfriend.
I don't know, but sometimes people, you don't want to talk about that though, because it could. Oh, you're not the person I thought you were.
Yeah, and it's like I don't really care what my girl, who she's been with, like. As far as I know, I'm doing a good job. That's all that matters, because you're going to find out that she was with some dude that was like Thor. You just can't compete.
The Black Mamba?
Yeah, the Black Mamba. And you're just like, well, now I'm having insecurity issues that are like affecting my performance, and then it's affecting her and how she feels. You just mind your business. She's with you for a reason. She's with you for a reason. She's obviously not with that dude because he doesn't embody a full package of whatever that may be. So next question.
This also leads you on to it. I don't know, it's the same topic, but it's like how beautiful they are, how much they turn you on.
No, that's weird.
Yeah,
like you're having a conversation. So me and you had a conversation a long time ago, and for the people listening, we would like to divulge that a conversation like that. So Derek was telling me, how do you get all these baddies or whatever? And I go, well, I just think, I look at them like the regular people, not like that I'm so used to talking to pretty women.
It was mainly online, because
it's in the sense of
you're a wordsmith, and the wordsmith knows how to write. And so when he slides into those DMs, I don't know what it is, but yours is in bold cap letters, and it just sparks their interest, and they're just like, oh my God, I have to reply and follow back.
What it is, and it's not something that I meant to do and let me be clear. I'm in a very happy relationship. I love my girl. And so when I speak, I try not to speak in a disrespectful manner because, that's who I am as a man. But I learned from a certain point, I was a very troubled person growing up. I was very suicidal, depressed at times, and I was off and on as to like my emotions. So, I just had a lot of ill feelings towards myself. And so when I would talk to women, I would talk to them about like things that I would feel like, oh, I see that you're like kind of off today. Like, what's going on? And then it would kind of be like, even on the first date, I would notice something and I would get into like this pain and I would bring it about them. And the very first date, all of a sudden we're talking about like what damage is done, what's hurting and affecting them from growing or from feeling like someone cares. And so I built an affinity through pain. And so it's weird when you're open with someone entirely, you'll learn that they'll open up like that. Because one of the closest things you could do is relate to somebody. So I like USC. Oh, dude, what are you going to do for the game on Saturday? Oh, I like the Patriots. And like, they say that the best conversation to have with another man to build like a connection is through sports. Because it's like that.
What if they're not into sports? What's the next one?
Shit.
Fishing?
I don't know, dude.
Meat?
Rollerblading or going on a bike with those super skin tight costumes on. But like with women, I learned with women, they like to build an affinity through pain, through some type of connection, because a lot of people go through pain that like, I've learned through myself, it doesn't apply to everybody, but a lot of women carry pain that people don't care to open or to talk about, or speak of, or to help alleviate. And so when I would go on these first dates, I would just talk like, what's going on? Like, what's really happening? Why are you here?
Let's not lie. You used to make them cry.
Oh yeah. I used to try my best at a certain point to make a woman cry on the first date. I don't know why. I think it was like a weird attribute that like, if I can make you cry, I can make you open up to me in ways that no one's ever like made you open up to them. I could tap a different part of your mind intellectually. I can manipulate your emotional IQ in ways that no one else can.
I think it's all a facade. I think you thought about, if I can make you cry, I can make you mine.
But that doesn't mean that I was sexual with a lot of these people. It meant that I built great friendships. One of my closest friends, I've known her since the very first day of college, and there's been plenty of times where her and I could have taken advantage of physical situations or intimacy in some way or something that's not platonic. We never crossed that line. But me and her and I had a close connection to help each other through our relationships and through our, whoever we were with. And that's how I did it. But I know with you, you're kind of You're kind of
the what?
I don't know.
The Joker, the fool?
You're the Joker, the fool. You make them laugh and you try to slide into their lives in a weird way. You try to I think you try to make them feel bad about themselves, and then you can build like this, like you're cooler than them, so they'll want you.
I have a horrible quality. And that leads into our next topic, secrets. Just like the secret of you being like depressed and all that. Probably shouldn't mention that, but my horrible quality is I talk a lot of mess. Like I talk a lot of like, I don't know what it is, but I have this gift that just tears somebody down through comedy. Though I'm not a dick about it. I mean, it's debatable, but I mean, I could just sit there, kind of roast you, build you back up, and it's like, hey, let's get Java Juice tomorrow. But I don't know what it is, but it's very hard, and I wish I'm very keen on not doing it because just like your friend, we went to LA. I totally misread that situation. I didn't know she was lesbian. I didn't know that she really didn't like me. I thought she did like me, but yeah, it was kind of surprising. So I was all into myself and I was feeding my own ego.
Yeah.
So that hurt. And so after doing that was like 2 years ago. And so after having these situations where I'm insulting people, like just the other day, it was like Drinksgiving and I'm sitting there. I know this girl from college. So I'm sitting there and I'm sitting around with her work friends and I don't know what it is, but this girl sits next to you. She's Indian. Or no, she's Arab or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I said something about a mime, and she was just so pissed. Everybody knew about it, man. It killed the whole evening, man. I thought it was funny though. It looked like that's how selfish I am.
But you used to slide into DMs and say, "Oh, okay, the Disney Princess one that we talked about before."
Oh, dude, what was that one?
You have pull up your pickup lines. Pull them up.
I don't.
Pull them up.
That's another podcast, man.
Man, this is this dude has the greatest pickup lines.
You can go through it
ever. I remember
these are deleted.
Man, you get in a relationship and you delete. You can at least put it in a Google Drive. Let's see.
Yeah, put it in a Google Drive.
Openers. Let's see.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay.
Give him two.
Okay,
give him three.
So he just, let's say he used to be on Tinder or whatever app, or I don't know.
No, these are for in person.
Okay, so the first thing he says is, cute shirt. Kind of talk you out of it.
Was stolen.
If we were alone right now, would you make a move? Hi, my name is Franz. Kind of see down your underpants.
That's
what are these?
Stolen.
I'm the first idiot of the night. Why do you try so hard? Just want to let you know God gave you everything except my number.
Stolen.
Really?
I saw a lot of them, but
so you
gotta rework them though.
So you walk into
them.
Okay, so this lets me know that you walk up to a girl in the club and you go, "Oh, so your fake ID worked." That's the pickup line.
Yep. If she's young, sparks the conversation. What are you talking about? Oh my God,
so
how'd you know?
You're at the bar and you go, "Hey, what's up? Come talk to me." Okay, I can see how that playful gesture might like.
If you stare, the thing is you stare and then you be like, "Don't be shy, say hi."
Okay, this one.
That's the best one.
You're at like a bar and you go, black dress. That was a good choice. Okay, so it's how you
it's how
present
you say
these.
it.
Okay.
It's all on how you deliver it.
Okay, so this is a good one. You're brushing across, trying to find your seat at the bar, and you kind of like brush over her and you go, oh, excuse me, you're in the lap dance section. And you make her laugh, and then you kind of do a little laugh. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. That's original.
Okay.
That's original. I thought of that one.
Let's see.
We're giving it away. No.
Your face. I like that shit. Okay.
Stolen.
Let's see. I can be your man when he's not around.
That's from a song. It's from a song. It's from a rap song.
But I mean, you had way better ones.
Because those are the ones I made up and I sent to you. I actually personally thought.
He used to have openers that he would go off of the girl's profile or whatever it was, and it would be so clean and so perfect and so tailored. I'd be like, "You're a genius! How you strike up conversation." And he thought I was a genius in the way I did things. And I just think it's, like I said, there's no set way. And even when it comes to talking to a guy or to a chick, like they might be pissed off that day and they might not be receptive to one thing as opposed to another. That's what makes, going on dates really hard. She might have gotten in a fight with her ex, or she might have gotten in a fight with a coworker at work and it ruined her mood. So when you get to the date, she's just not like privy to your little jokes today. And she might be hangry. or
hungry and angry.
yeah. So
She needs a Snickers bar.
I mean, you never know, but
The last two topics, the questions that would be not to say on the date or to ask on a date would be marriage or marriage.
or kids. No.
Oh, that actually should be 11.
Like, do you want kids?
That should be the bonus one.
Do you want kids? Because people don't like.
Maybe it's a sub.
If you don't want kids in the future, why do I need to even continue?
That
this?
is true, though. That is true. What if she can't have kids?
Okay, so what was the last two questions?
Yeah, it was marriage. Well, the topics were marriage and
Okay.
then work drama.
So in what context? Like is it saying like, do you cause work drama or how do you alleviate
Oh,
it?
you talk about like, oh my God, Amy at the front desk. She's so annoying. She stole my perfume. She doesn't give me my copies. Something like that. But I think that it's almost, if you ask that question, like, how's your work life? You happy where you're at? It's kind of like opening that door to, oh, you know what? Let me connect with you. Let me open up. Let me
Yeah,
be
I
your
think that
confidant.
goes into the, oh, what do you work at? Oh, you work there? Do you like it?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what's it like? Like, do you like the people you work with? Because there's this coworker that I have, and they kind of pester me a lot. And I'm learning, like, when you're in a cubicle and you can't get away, it makes it hard. And then you just keep going into conversation.
It's probably, see, it's all how you say it, because they could be like, oh, I hate that. I hate her.
And so I think it's
So-
like, when I present things, I try not to be like a jerk about it. I try not to be like, I'm this annoying person. My girl thinks I'm annoying as hell. That's because like I have a different comfortability. But on a first date, when me and her first met at Starbucks, we had a 3 hour, I don't know, it was a date, but we were just friends at the time. Like,
Did you pay?
no, actually, I think she got me the drink.
Oh, nice.
But see, when we first met, when we spoke for the first 3 hours, he's shaking my hand because I didn't pay. When we first met, it wasn't a date. We were literally just friends, and we were with their respective exes, and like things were really bad with both of them. And it's not like we met to like to get with each other. We got together because we already like were cool, and we were just friends, and we just wanted to ask each other questions like, what could we do, or just like, you know, vent to each other. And so that turned into like that, and then I think I made her cry. And then, you know, I talked to her, and then today she goes, man, the first date, like now we consider it a date because we're together, but back then we were just friends. We literally legit were just friends for about a year. Now she looks back, she goes, man, why were you interviewing me? I'm like, huh? She's like, you asked me question after question after question after question. I'm all, you answered them all, and you kept the conversation going.
She's realizing, oh my God, the spell's lifted. How did I get trapped?
And then she, you know,
Did she say anything about crying?
you see, I don't remember if I made her cry or not. I feel like she might have, but we never bring that up. But yeah, I think like if you're in a 3 hour date, you know, a conversation with just Starbucks, Jamba Juice, whatever simple place that just is a drink to like brings to cut the you know the tension. Just you want to get a little tiny something to cut the tension, you know. If you can go on a 3 hour date, you're in a really good spot with somebody. Like if you could have a podcast. So when you go on a date, think of it like a podcast. When you have a microphone in front of your face, you just want to talk in depth. You want to broaden and open each door. You want to go down that, what's it called? The branch, or when you're coming up with ideas, a branch that like splits.
Brainstorm?
Brainstorm. It's like you want to go through that brainstorming.
Idea tree, yeah.
And that tree, you know, you just want to keep going to the different topics. And
They call it an outline or something like that, yeah.
and so the one thing that I learned when I go on dates is don't be shallow with your answers. And so a teacher taught me this. What's your favorite color?
White,
Why is it your favorite color?
because it's clean. It looks good, appears everywhere.
Okay, so like basically how I learned this is when you're answering a question, like how you said it's clean, it's white, it's pure. Okay, that's a short answer still. So what the teacher taught me is write in an hour why white is your favorite color. Now you're going to be like, white's my favorite color because I can imagine myself marrying a girl in white and the way that she looks. And you all of a sudden have like 2 to 3 pages.
Did you just say because she's white and the way she looks?
No, like the wedding dress or whatnot. And so just think, you wrote 3 pages in an hour just writing it down. Now, do that, but in your head.
Honestly, probably like the next slide I would say is because white is right.
Oh, God.
That's exactly what I would say. I love white people. Something like that. I don't know. But no, yeah, you know what? You should be your true self. You should kind of give off a good representation of who you are, something that's memorable, something you could take it back by, and then hope you try for a kiss and then go home. I don't know. Try to do that. That's what I would do.
It's so hard to read body language. It really kind of is.
Is it for
because like,
some people?
I've heard like my girl, you should have kissed me on this time. Like after we realized we really liked each other. Like when we were both broken up with our exes and it was like time had passed, but we were still friends. Like there would be a moment where I picked her up from like 3 a.m. from a party. She was like, we went to Denny's to go eat, or like not 3 a.m, but like 1 o'clock in the morning.
And then Denny's?
Yeah. We go to Denny's because she's like starving. And
you take her to Walmart after?
No, shut up. And so like, I take her home and then it's like, oh, like you're just my friend. You've been my friend for like a year. It's too late now. But then I didn't know that she was thinking like, oh, you should kiss me.
See, that's why
it's tough. It's tough.
Look, and that's where rejection is always key. I would not want to go home in this life right now. Once you understand it, this is the best thing. That's why I say go early. You get that job early, you're going to be good. Part-time work. When you're 13, get that lawn business going. You start walking dogs, start, cleaning cars, washing cars. You know what you want to do and what you can't do. So when you have that customer, you have that girl, you have that boy that won't buy what you're selling, cool, you face rejection, that's it. But you don't want to go down the road like, oh, I'm not going to try because I don't know if she's feeling me or not. I don't know if this job's going to work out. I don't know if I should apply for it because it asked me to have a cover letter ready, and I don't have a cover letter ready.
Yeah.
So I think, man, you just want, if having those 2 seconds of rejection, that's what they say, will never be about the lifetime of regret. That's why I'm like, and your excuse was always, you tell everybody this, I wouldn't want to ruin a lifetime friendship.
Oh, yeah. So I don't want to.
I'd rather have a lifetime friendship
rather have
than
a lifetime
regret.
friend than a lifetime regret.
Yeah, but I'd rather know than to not know.
Yeah,
like,
but
I'd rather
it's like,
scratch the scratcher.
Do I really want to? So like one of my lady friends, I've known her for about 7, 8 years now, and like we had plenty of opportunities if we liked each other to do stuff, But like she's even good friends with my girl because we never took it there. We never were sexually attracted, and it was just like, okay, she's like a very attractive woman, and I'm like, I'm at least average. I mean, I'm at least average. Give me that. I'm at least average. And so it's like, I could have taken a shot, and then it's like, well, I probably wouldn't have her here in my life.
That nose is a 10,
just out of lust. Just out of lust, Like, I don't want to make decisions that's do I really want this, or can I go, jack off and remedy all these feelings that I'm feeling? Okay, bottom line is if you jack off, or for women, I don't know if you call it jack off, and you feel the same way, that means you really like that person. But
it's called masturbate.
Yeah, if you masturbate and you don't feel the same way, that means you don't really care about that person. Just letting you know that. But
we'll wrap it up. But the last thing is, body language is easy. If her eyes are really dilated and open, looking at you, and she's looking at your lips,
you
and
got
you can
some
verify
dark
that.
ass eyes. Your eyes are dark as hell. I can't even tell that. I couldn't tell if you were high or not right now, unless your eyes were low.
You could tell have a pupil there.
I can tell,
that?
but it's all I see is
Do
black.
you actually know their eyes?
Goodness gracious.
But you can tell. You look at her eyes, look at her body language, look at her pitch and her voice. If she's looking straight at you, you know what I mean. Like there's things that, if she's playing with her hair, she's giggling, she's laughing a lot. What are her hands doing with her feet? If she's moving, if she's nervous, she can't stand still. Those are all type of signs. And they're all not the perfect sign, but
yeah,
man, I'm telling you, man, you just go in and you do the same thing real quick. Bam, better. I've got rejected too before, and it's kind of funny, you just kind of like, I said the stupidest thing ever. This is so bad. I was like, I'll tell you before we wrap up, I said before we walked out of Starbucks, and I was like, you laugh, you didn't even know.
I know it's gonna be something stupid.
I was like, we got real close, and I was like, do you have a boyfriend? No. Why would I be here with you? Yeah, that's what she was thinking. Do you have a girlfriend? What are you talking about? Well, then what's your excuse not to kiss me? Going for the kiss. Oh shoot, got curved. Got curved.
Even after the speech, you got curved?
I got curved.
Okay, if you just went straight for it.
I should have went straight for it. Because
I don't know, I think, but oh my gosh.
What you do is you hug a little bit, and then you come back, and you just, but you know what? It was 9 o'clock in the morning, so it's like, what do you expect? But
You try to kiss in the girl at 9 o'clock in the morning.
they try at 9 o'clock in the morning.
What time did you go on this damn Starbucks date? 7 o'clock? They weren't even open. When
Like
you helped to
8,
set up the chairs and make the coffee?
Like 8 o'clock. Yeah.
Oh my. So after an hour, you thought it would be okay to try to kiss her?
You never know.
That's sexual assault, bro.
You gotta let them know that, hey, I'm a man, you're a woman, I like you, this is the situation here. I'm not a friend. You can't friend me. That's it, huh? It's man to woman. That's what it is. That's what it is. You put food on the table, I'm gonna eat it if it tastes good.
When you're online for, getting accused of sexual allegations, I mean, I'll keep you on the podcast, man, but I can't defend you.
Yeah, visit me during visit hours. We'll visit everybody else on this show. I guess next year, right? Happy 2018 again. We snuck another one in here.
2018. So we're gonna wrap this up. We are Derek and Derek from the Saying It Differently podcast. We say things differently you might not agree with, and if you do agree with, hey, that's great. Leave us a comment. We won't care if you hate it or like it. I mean, we just say it differently. We say it how we like to. So, with nothing further much to say, we out.